My next guest is the world's most famous uptown girl and supermodel. She's also appeared in over 500 magazine covers. We got pictures? Yeah. Hey, hey, she's married now. Come on, hey, hey. She's also now the host of CNN's daily lifestyle show. It's called Living in the 90s, and I'd like you to please welcome warmly Christie Brinkley. Well, you know, every time you come here, you always look good. How do you decide what to wear when you come?
Oh.
You got on that silver sequence thing last time.
Yes, well, this time, I tell you, it was murder. I figured yesterday, I was so busy, you know, we came out and we were doing my show live here for the first time, and there was so much to do and so much to think about that I wanted to get past that, and then I'd start thinking about your show. So yesterday, I had a couple hours, and I thought, well, I'll just run out. They've got great shops here in L.A., ran into a store, grabbed a few things, and I had a couple things that I thought would be really good, and I got them home. And last night I went to this, the AIDS
Elton
thing.
John,
Yeah.
Bernie Taupin.
We came home about 3 in the morning, and I said, let me try on a couple things that I might wear on Arsenio. And Billy looked at me, and the first one I came out, and I was like, yeah, you know, had these red suede, sort of flared, you know, sort of groovy pants, right? And he said, you look like Prince. So then I put on the second one and forget it. He said, I've never seen you have such a lapse in taste. So I decided to go for the tasteful little
Black ditty.
black dress.
Yes, it looks good. How was the thing last night, by the way? A very important benefit.
It was incredible. It was such a special evening. You know, they really created a whole intimate atmosphere. And as you may know, it was for Project AIDS Los Angeles. And they're a great organization, and it was a great cause, and they had everybody there. Barbra Streisand was honored, and she gave an amazing speech. I mean, she could run for president, this woman. She was so great. And Liza Minnelli stopped him dead in the first part of the show, and Billy was performing. He did the first part of the show. They had this intimate setting with all the performers up on stage, and they were all just sitting around, like talking and watching, while one performer would get up and do their thing, and then they'd sit down, and the next one would come on. And it was so special, and they weren't just doing their own music. So it was really unique. And then the second half of the show, they did West Side Story and their own renditions. So Billy did something with Eddie Van Halen, opened up, and he had that guitar, and they had one spotlight on him, and he was like, and then Billy came in, and it was funny in the dressing room beforehand. Now, Eddie looked so cool on stage. You know, he had like a cigarette stuck in it. Not to say that cigarettes are cool, but had it stuck in the end, and the smoke was sort of filtering up, and he was playing that thing, and he looked like the coolest thing in the world. He was nervous wreck in the dressing room. And so Billy's trying to figure out, you know, what am I going to do? You know, I'm coming out to do the Jets song, you know, here come the Jets, let them do. Da, da, da. And so I said, well, you know, you gotta do like a little jet move. You know, remember the movie West Side Story, and they're all like doing the snapping and then sort of flicking that leg out, and he's like, Christie, I love you, but you can't dance. You know, this is, you know, no, it's true, I really can't. But it just so happens that Russ Tamlin came in just as who was in the original West Side Story. And just as I'm sitting there, you know, doing this little snap and got the leg going, and Billy's like, Christie, you're just so white, you know? and I said, yeah, but, you know, that was part of the whole movie, you know? I mean, the fact that the Jets were the white group, you know, and they couldn't dance either.
Yeah.
So...
The Sharks could dance.
So
that was like Soul Train, but the Jets. You know, you say you can't dance, but you told me you couldn't sing. And you just sang a little bit, and that was...
unfortunately, I proved it last week. You cannot believe what Billy did to me last week. I still can't believe that he did this to me. Okay.
See, okay, first of all, her husband is Billy Joel. There are a lot of people who watch the show, and they've been frozen, and they think, you know, they have no idea who you're talking about. Plus, we got to give him his. And There's some people looking at you thinking you're talking about Billy D. Williams, and they mad. You know, Billy Joel. Billy Joel.
All right, and if I slip and I start talking about Joe, I'm still talking about Billy, but I call him Joe. So that's, okay, just to clear that up. All right, so we go to this big event in New York. This was for Rolling Stone's 25th anniversary party, and everybody was there, every rock and roll star you can imagine, from Eric Clapton to Keith Richards and, you know, Robbie Robertson and you name it. And everybody, movie stars from Jason Priestley from Beverly Hills to Walter Cronkite and Michael Keaton and the Kennedys, and everybody was there. It was like a walking wax museum of famous faces, you know?
Yeah.
So in the middle of all of this, they have a ceremony where people are going up and they're giving their speeches, and everybody's got these very planned speeches. And Billy was thinking, you know, it's Rolling Stone, and it's rock and roll, and it's going to be really loose. But everybody was very serious about it, and all these speeches are going on. I said, so what are you going to do? You know, what have you planned? He said, I don't know, you know, I'm just going to wing it. And I said, yeah, but everybody's got it planned. He said, I know, and it's a pretty tough crowd, too. I think I'm just going to throw it to you. I said, what do you mean you're just going to throw it to me? And he said, well, you know, Jan really wanted me to come up and sing Happy Birthday, and I thought, I don't know, I just don't feel it, so I'm just going to throw it to you. And all of a sudden, they introduce him. He walks up onto the stage, and I'm thinking, he's just doing that to me so that I know the kind of nerves that maybe he's been feeling, and he's teasing me, and he's not going to happen. And all of a sudden, I hear him up there at the podium saying, and Jan Winter asked me to sing a song tonight, and it just happened to be one of the worst songs ever written, and so I thought, who could pull it off? My favorite voice, Christie Brinkley. I mean, it was like, you know, have you ever been to like a comedy club or a magic act? And you know the one that they come to the audience, right? And they, oh, no. I just got it.
I'm sorry, I'm breaking your rhythm. Go on. Oh, yeah, but I know what you mean.
But, you know, well, have you ever been a comedian in a comedy club that's taken a poor innocent victim out of the audience and dragged them up on the stage? And, you know, and you feel like an idiot, right? But you feel even worse if you've resisted and you've got the heels dug in and you're like, don't take me up there, please don't. So it makes it worse. So I figured, I'm not going to do that and get pulled up there. So I just walked up there, but it was like a death walk, you know, like, oh, my God. What am I going to do? So it dawned on me, like Bill Clinton, President-elect Bill Clinton.
Hello.
Yay. He had sent a letter to Jan congratulating him on Rolling Stone and all of that. And a lot of the speakers had done a very political kind of thing. So it crossed my mind as I walked up there, well, maybe I'll sort of imitate Marilyn Monroe, right, as she sang to President Kennedy. But I was so nervous that I didn't realize when I was doing it that I wasn't really doing much of an imitation at all. I just kind of had the mic there and I did a sort of happy birthday. And I'm not going to repeat it again. Once was enough. But I thought I was like really overdoing it and putting the moves in and everything. But it was a veritable cringe fest watching.
What you just did work for me when she did that. That worked for me. I want to take a commercial, and then I want to come back, and I want to ask you how you get your teeth so white. Have you ever dated a woman, fellas, with teeth like this? I'd get married if I found teeth like this. But we'll be right back. Her teeth are like, they're so white.
You have this show I talked about in the intro. Who's been your biggest star?
My biggest star would have to be Billy.
Joel.
Billy Joel, yes. I had him on just this week. He was out here to do the AIDS project, and so I nabbed him. I actually aced you. You haven't had him on your show yet, have you?
You know, I guess I got to sleep with him like you do. And you know she slept with him to get him on the show. Now, you know that. Let's look at this clip. Is he in this one?
Yes,
Okay.
I think you do have a clip from, yes.
Okay.
We're going to have have to wrap it up. I have one last question. If you could be a twee, Billy, what kind of twee would you be?
What kind of twee would I be?
Just kidding.
No, I can answer that. I would like to be a Christmas twee.
Oh, that's a good answer.
Because I already have a lot of balls, and this way I can spend the holidays at home.
Right. All right, let's touch base, babe. Keep in touch, okay?
Okay,
you look
babe.
fabulous,
Thanks,
really.
babe.
Taffeta, the taffeta.
Oh! You gotta get him for me. he's on the edge. Okay, now, if you were to give me a tip on interviewing, what would you tell me to do?
Me give you a tip on interviewing?
I'm sure you've learned things. I'm sure you have.
I've been studying you, actually, to try and get a view.
I just try to listen, you know, if I can.
That's a very good tip. But sometimes even listening, you can't figure out what your guests are talking about, right? I mean, my well, my very, very first day, I'll never forget, the night before, I was so nervous. They said, okay, Christie, you're going to have 2 interviews the next day. I've never interviewed anybody before. They said, okay, one is going to be a woman who has chronic fatigue syndrome.
Yeah.
And the next one is going to be a shoe designer, right? So 3 o'clock in the morning, I find myself awake thinking, okay, you have chronic fatigue syndrome. Do you wear platform shoes? It was like, you know, I was getting everything mixed up. And then, anyway.
That's very funny.
Concentrated. You know, you get like so wrapped up in it.
Yeah.
And you kind of think, all right, now I'm going to ask them this, and then they're going to answer that. Or maybe they'll answer this, but it's going to be this or that. And they never answer what you think they're going to answer.
No.
And then, so I had my shoe designer on, and I said to him something like, so tell me, first I said something really corny like, so good to have somebody with so much soul on our show. Where do you stand on the platform issue? And he said to me, well, you know, there is a train, and the train has an engine, and behind the engine there are lots of compartments, and in the compartment, there are lots of people, but in the engine there's no... And I'm sitting there going, I didn't anticipate this answer at all. You know? What do you say? You know?
But you're enjoying the show, though. You like it, right?
Yes, yeah, it's so much fun. It really is. And it's like being the host of 5 different shows, really, because we have Monday, our subject is style. And Tuesday, it's health. And Wednesday, it's nutrition. And Thursday, it's travel, or vice versa. I always get those 2 days mixed up. And Friday, it's showbiz. And so, you know, it's like... It really is like having 5 totally different shows.
Yeah. Yeah, well, please come back. You're getting laughs where I don't even think we planned on getting laughs.
I'm beginning to worry about that.
I don't want Billy. I want you back. An unprecedented 3rd time. This is Christie, Living in the 90s. It airs every day, 10:30 a.m. on CNN.
Oh, yeah.
We'll be
CNN.
back.